Hope you guys really enjoyed this video. Just really quickly, I would just like to tell you that this is a storyline video of why Richtofen stole the summoning key and his outcomes and why he did it. Hope you guys really enjoyed. See you guys in the next one. Why did Richtofen steal the summoning key? He stole the summoning key after the events of Origins. In Origins, after completing the Easter egg, after sending Samantha and Maxis to Agatha, he went off traveling for 2 years. In these 2 years, Richtofen found a book called the Chronorium. The Chronorium is the book of the ancient evil of Hothicans. From this, Richtofen learned that he could change the past lives of other versions of himself. He was gonna do this to his 1.0 version, the Richtofen we all know and love from Black Ops 1 and World at War. He wanted to do this because he knew 1.0 version himself would rain evil upon the universe and the multiverses throughout his time. After learning of this, he would travel all the way to Shadows of Evil using the Chronorium to nick the summoning key from the Shadows of Evil characters' hands right in front of them. Then he would travel to the Giant. The Giant would be the place that his 1.0 version would die, because he would make the other 2.0 version's characters, Takeo, Dempsey and Nikolai, travel to the Giant and stop Richtofen, but they actually made him press the button and release Richtofen 2.0 and then shot him. When doing this, Richtofen 2.0 made the 2.0 version characters believe that he was taking his soul in the Giant from his 1.0 character, and it will be explained in the future. Of evil characters' hands right in front of them. Then he would travel to the Giant. The Giant would be the place that his 1.0 version would die, because he would make the other 2.0 version's characters, Takeo, Dempsey and Nikolai, travel to the Giant and stop Richtofen, but they actually made him press the button and release Richtofen 2.0 and then shot him. When doing this, Richtofen 2.0 made the 2.0 version characters believe that he was taking his soul in the Giant from his 1.0 character, and it will be explained in the future. After the events of the Giant, Dempsey, Nikolai, Takeo and Richtofen himself would all travel to the castle of Diazendrak. This would be the facility of Group 935, where Dr. Groth from Moon would hold Dempsey as captive for research purposes, but no, Richtofen 2.0 didn't want to let this happen. So after the events of Diazendrak's Easter egg, Richtofen would use the summoning key to freeze all the characters and tell what his real plan was. His real plan was to secure a better tomorrow, but he had to kill the 1.0 version of the characters, not secure the objective like Dempsey thought. He thought he would have to secure Dempsey 1.0 and take him back, but no. This would be one of the most darkest days Dempsey 2.0 would have to do. He would have to kill himself. This would be one of the most intimate moments that he would have with his other self, because he would have to actually kill himself. After the hesitation, Dempsey 1.0 did kill himself, and then Richtofen would take his soul right in front of them all. Next, the four characters would travel to Zetsubo no Shima, but on the way of traveling to the island of Zetsubo no Shima, they were held captive by Japanese soldiers led by the Division 9, the Japanese version of Group 935. In this, they would get into a big heated battle between them and themselves. During this battle, they almost died and losing the summoning key in the process, but saving it and traveling to the island. Throughout the events of Zetsubo no Shima, they try finding Takeo 1.0. In the end, they find him after being tortured by the Division 9 research projects that have been testing on him with plants. This caused Takeo 1.0 to become into a plant monster. But after beating the plant monster, Takeo 2.0 would talk to Takeo 1.0 and relive the memories that they have both lived, because they have similar memories. After talking, 2.0 Takeo asks himself, why? Who did this to you? But Takeo 1.0 replied with, you were blinded by your own loyalty. Because Takeo was blinded by his own loyalty. The reason Takeo 1.0 was there was because of the Emperor. The Emperor had caused the events to happen to Takeo 1.0 because he believed that he was not honorable to the Emperor, and would send him to Division 9 to be tortured by any means necessary by them. They could do what they want with him. After this, Takeo 1.0 was gladly ready to sacrifice himself by a Japanese method of suicide called Shinonaki. This would be a way that Takeo 1.0 would die. After this, Richtofen would claim the soul of Takeo 1.0 like he did himself's version of 1.0, Dempsey 1.0, and now Takeo 1.0. After these events, they would all travel to Mob of the Dead, where they would get the blood vials. The blood vials would be the way of Richtofen's insurance policy for if they didn't end up where they were. On all the version 2.0 characters' journey, they would next travel to Gorodkrovi, Stalingrad, the City of Blood. They would travel to the City of Blood by teleporting. They would teleport by Maxis, because Maxis would have teleported them from Zetsubonashima to Gorodkrovi. On their way to Gorodkrovi, when they found the mysterious Peter McCain, who it looks like has deceased on his journey when journeying from Verrückt to the Reef. After this, Pete McKay would never be seen again, so as far as we know. Next, the version 2.0 character would fight a big dragon with Nikolai 1.0 teaming up, and after slaying the dragon, they would try and reason with Nikolai 1.0. But Nikolai 1.0 will not give up his soul like Takeo Mazaki did in his 1.0, because Nikolai 1.0 believes in fighting for his honor, but fighting for his homeland, Mother Russia. After a long heated battle between the four characters and Nikolai 1.0, Nikolai and Nikolai would speak, and Nikolai 2.0 would relieve all the problems that 1.0 Nikolai had. Why he drank the alcohol? He only drank the vodka because he thought it was the only way of hiding it. Hiding the emotionless pain that he had been through. The emotionless pain that he had ever since losing his one and only wife. The rumours that he had 6 wives were not true, but they were just drunken delusions by Nikolai 1.0. After this, Nikolai 1.0 would shoot Nikolai 2.0, but Nikolai 2.0 would survive the bullet to the chest, and Nikolai 2.0 would reply with a shotgun bullet to the face. After this event, Nikolai would check his chest for bullets, and Taki would check on him. When this is going on, Richtofen and Dempsey would both be taking the soul of Nikolai 1.0. After this, Richtofen would send all the souls to Agatha, not including his own, because his own soul was already in Agatha after the Origins Easter egg, because his soul went along with it, with the others. After these events, they would teleport to the house. Finally, all 4 Version 2 characters had returned home. They had returned back to the house. The perfect world they all thought of had finally come true, as they thought. Nikolai, Takeo, Dempsey, Richtofen, and Maxis all destroyed the teleporter that they used to get from location to location to location. And then, as they all thought it was all over, it wasn't. Maxis actually released the Shadow Man from the summoning key. Someone they didn't know was in the summoning key. They didn't know he was in the summoning key because Richtofen just snatched the key out of the keeper's hands in Shadows of Evil. He didn't check what was inside whatsoever. He just took. So after the Shadow Man was released, he teleported all the 4 characters and the house to a bleeding universe, the universe run by the Apothecans. In this world, they were all 4 Version 2.0 characters would have to face everything they had been through all over again. Margot, new threats to the Margot's Panzer Soldats, everything that has been known from in Black Ops 3. After a big, great war between the Shadow Man and the 4.0 characters, the Shadow Man was finally defeated by the version 2.0 characters, and in this, they were supposed to die, but Richtofen's insurance policy had came back. The blood, their insurance policy, the Mob of the Dead blood. After this, they were in the perfect world. The 4 characters were in the perfect world that they had always dreamed of. But Dr. Money didn't want them because he knew they had created a paradox that would absolutely not be needed inside his perfect world. When trying to get rid of them, Richtofen said that they could send them to a place that they'd never been to before. But no, Dr. Monty had better ideas. He erased them from existence and put them back where they all started. Primus, the very first versions of the characters.
Getting off this rock. The lightning hit, the nightmare never stops.